Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am filming a coffee enema video, how to get your kit together, what you need, weird questions, why maybe you should consider doing it or not. So that is what this video is all about. And I don't know, I've been doing coffee enemas for over a year. I was not sure about making this video. One, it's kind of a controversial subject and at home, treatment. So there's that. But also, I'm not a medical professional. So I always put that in the videos where I talk about anything, that you're doing voluntarily. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just someone who does this and has found a lot of help and use in doing them. So that is it. So with that being said, if you have, Crohn's or IBS or gut issues or anything, you may want to consult your doctor or your naturopath before starting. So it's kind of like enter at your own risk. My journey healing with Lyme disease, mold toxicity, breast implant illness, and a plethora of other retroactive viruses and issues, I kind of dove into different, biohacking type things or at-home treatments or things I could do affordably on my own. So coffee enemas was one that I started to target mold toxicity. And then of course now I use it to enhance glutathione production, to cleanse, any debris or bacteria or buildup in my colon, in my intestines, to help with parasites. I did have parasites. It took me about a year to eradicate them. It's kind of hard to say if they're still there or not, but I used to see them, yes, and now I don't. So there are a lot of other uses. I'll put some links below about that. So that's the backstory. I started doing them January, February 2021, so I've been doing them a little over a year. I used to do them as frequently as every other day, and now I do them maybe once every 10 days, give or take. So that is that. I just wanted to talk about kind of what you need, which I'm going to show and talk through separately, but then also just those questions that I had when I first started and mistakes I made, because I did make a mistake as far as replenishing. So I just want to touch on that. Of course, if there are any questions, let me know below. So I guess when I began, I honestly just looked at different people's Instagrams. I'll put their accounts below, and I just tried to gather information like, okay, what do I need? What do I do? And basically most everything I got was from Amazon or Whole Foods to be able to do this. The full cost, I would say, of like a startup kit is maybe $50, around there. It's very affordable, depending on what, kit you buy and what coffee and things like that. So it's very, very affordable, at-home treatment, relatively safe. Of course, you need to be aware of certain things. So I guess when I began, for me, I didn't understand replenishment. So that's one of the main things I want to go over, because I did get kind of sick, if that makes sense. So when you do an enema, you are stripping your intestines of electrolytes and healthy bacteria as well as bad bacteria, and minerals and nutrients that you do need. So that is something to be aware of. So when you are done with your enema, you need to replenish. You do that by taking minerals and electrolytes. The electrolytes I use are this brand. There are a lot of brands out there. Just, check your sugar, check what's in there. I get these at Whole Foods, or Amazon has them. So they taste really good. I get raspberry, just pop it in some water. I even drink this like if I'm having a bad day as far as like a Lyme flare or just feeling like shit. So, if you're an energy drink or coffee person, this actually would be a really good way for you to kind of wean off that. I started using the trace mineral drops. They taste horrible. Take it like a shot if you use this kind, but they are very effective. You can get them at Whole Foods or Amazon. Then I switched over to Cellcore, CT Minerals. Normally you have to see a naturopath to get Cellcore products. I will link below where I get mine because my naturopath does not sell Cellcore products. I actually ended up getting these two guys to use in conjunction. So the minerals, the Hydrooxygen, I put them directly in my coffee enema solution. So 10 drops of each. I will show myself doing that. If you are starting out, that may not be something you want to start with because it is going to make that solution stronger. So with the coffee solution, you may want to start with 1 tablespoon of coffee instead of 3 or 4. So I'll kind of talk about that when I'm actually making the solution. So replenishment is huge. When I wasn't replenishing, I basically like crashed. There was like, I maybe have been doing enemas like a month, 6 weeks. I just felt like really sick, like I was gonna throw up or pass out. It just hit me all at once. So replenishment is so important. That's why I'm talking about it first. So that's the biggest thing. You have to understand what you're doing. You don't have to be like a scientist or a doctor, but you have to understand, you know, the do's and don'ts of coffee enemas. So when I started coffee enemas, I just was like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just doing this. So, first thing is, you know, what do you wear? So I guess you can wear whatever you want, but I don't wear pants, and I usually wear like an oversized t-shirt, or if I'm cold or something, or if you live in a cold climate, like a big oversized sweatshirt. You can wear whatever you want on the top. I wouldn't wear pants. I guess you can do it naked if you want, whatever, but I wear like slipper socks, and then I wear, like I said, something oversized on top. I do them in my bathtub. So some people do it in their shower if they have like a walk-in shower. Some people do it on their floor. You want to make like a cozy little spot. So I pretty much put down this like really cozy blanket, a little pillow, like in my bathtub. And then you hang your bucket kind of up, like on a hook. It has to be up so it drains. You need that gravity to pull the solution out of the tube and to kind of make that work. So that's kind of the best way, and I will show my setup in this as well. Another question I had was temperature. So this is a big one. You do not want to burn yourself. I never have, but it's something that like when you're trying something new, it's kind of like an afterthought. Obviously nothing over 98 degrees should be going in you. I personally like my solution at like 75. I say that because when it's too warm, you really don't feel it going in, if that makes sense. For me, it's a control thing. Like I need to feel the solution so I know when to stop it, because I'm only doing half and then holding, releasing, and then the other half holding, releasing. So that is something to keep in mind. You want to take the temperature always, you know, even if I know like, all right, that's not too hot, I still do it just so I form that habit, because that is something that actually does happen and people do burn themselves. So that's something to keep in mind. I use coconut oil to kind of as a lubricant, so you can put it on yourself or just the enema tip or both, whatever makes sense for you. You don't want to do anything that hurts. So if something's like painful or uncomfortable, you need to stop, breathe, reposition, whatever, but it should never be painful. You can definitely puncture your colon if you're like forcing something in. So it should really just, you know, there's a feeling, but it shouldn't be a bad feeling. How long you hold? You're gonna hold this solution like, really, okay, you should hold it 10 to 15 minutes, right? But when you're starting, no. I was like 2 minutes, you know, and then worked my way up to 5. So it's something you're just like getting used to. So the longer you hold it, the better. And that's why they recommend like 10 to 15, because it can make it up your vagus nerve into your liver. It cleanses your liver. So that's the benefit there. But of course, you know, you need to do what feels right. You are gonna feel like an urge to like go to the bathroom or cramping or things like that. Very normal, not a big deal. If you have pain, shooting pain, searing pain, anything extreme, you need to stop it and release. And but just keep in mind there is some feelings associated with it. So for me, I just like breathe through it. And you want to make this space like really relaxing. I used to like text people and like talk on the phone during my enemas, and I was like, what am I doing? So you want to breathe, you know, light candles, pick your little crystals or whatever. Just make it like a very chill environment, and think about it as like a moment of wellness. That's kind of something I learned. And in that calm state, it helps you to kind of like breathe through anything. And I know with me, for example, when I put a solution in, the first like 2 minutes, I'm like, I'm cramping. I don't like this. Like, maybe I should get up. And if you just breathe through it, it goes away. So that is my tip with that. How much solution you make. So you're gonna make about a little over a liter, which is about 4 cups, I think. Yes. I do it in 2 chunks, if that makes sense. So you'll do half your solution, hold 10 to 15 minutes, release, and then do the other half. A lot of people ask, how do you know when you're done releasing? There's kind of not a way to know that. You just lose the urge to have to like use the restroom. Sometimes there is more in there. It's not serious. It's all gonna come out. So just, you know, relax. And when you feel like, okay, cool, like then you move on to your next round. Some people do a water solution enema first to kind of clear out the bowels, and then they do their 2-part coffee enema. I don't really do that, to be honest. Like I just am trying to like get this done. When I first started, this whole process would take me like 2-3 hours. Now I can like bang this out in like 40 minutes. So, you know, see what you have time for, and, you know, you get quicker and, you know, a little better at what you're doing as time goes on. Another thing I wanted to talk about is eating. So for me, I try to not consume, you know, solid food like an hour and a half to 2 hours before, but you want to make sure you eat. So, you know, I could have like an egg, avocados, like sourdough toast in the morning, and then maybe like a green juice or a protein shake, and then kind of chill, do the enema, and then I will eat after. Usually I'll eat like bone broth or ground beef, like a bowl or something, to replenish those minerals and everything I just stripped out. So that's kind of as far as like what I eat to prepare. Some people like doing coffee enemas in the morning. I'm like a midday person. I don't do them after like 5. I have, and I've been up like all night because of it. So you may get like a buzz, like a caffeine surge. That's very normal. So you want to plan it out in your day where it makes sense for you. Doing them during full moons is really great, because if you do have parasites, or if you're unaware that you have parasites, there's a higher activity and a better chance you may actually see some die off. I would see parasite die off the next morning. So I would do my enema, go through my day, and then the next morning when I would use the restroom, I would then, you know, see whatever. The benefits of coffee enemas are glutathione production, cleansing the liver, blood cleansing, stimulating the vagus nerve, increasing energy, removing mold, mycotoxins, debris in the body. It's also very helpful if you are someone that gets like backed up or has trouble using the restroom. So you have to remember the two biggest forms of detoxing are using the restroom and sweating. So those are the two biggest ways that humans naturally detox our bodies. And a lot of people with the gut issues and not enough movement or exercise or sunlight, you know, they're not doing either. So they're really great in that way. I think you just need to listen to your body and be cautious. Another big thing is cleaning your, you know, your hose and your tip and your tin or bag or whatever you're using. Use hydrogen peroxide, hot soap, water. I always clean before and after. That way I know there's nothing like lingering. And then when I hang the hose to dry, I always hang it so it can drain, because if you leave it like flat, you know, like anything with water, it can develop mold. So you want to be careful with that kind of thing. And then if you are going to use binders, like charcoal, cholestyramine, whatever binder you're using, you're going to want to take them. Some people do it before, some people do it right after. Oh my God, that scared me. It was the ice maker. Some people do it before, some people do it after. You can try both, see what works for you. There's not like a right or a wrong way. When you're doing a coffee enema, the other thing that is like confusing, because you read both, is how do you lay or position yourself? So for the longest time, I was laying on my left when I would insert and then drain the solution. And then I would turn to my back while it was in me. Then I was reading, oh, well, you should change positions to keep the solution moving through your body. Then I read that you should lay on your right because your liver is on the right side. I've read all of it. My opinion, truthfully, is just try and see what works for you. Like, there's different opinions on each one, because if you lay on the left side, it's supposed to penetrate your colon differently. And if you lay on the right side, it's supposed to stimulate your liver and make it up to your liver. And if you lay on your back, it's, so try a couple things, see what works. But those are kind of the questions I think associated with coffee enemas early on. So if I miss anything, I'll put it below, but I think that's pretty much it. So we are using distilled water and we are gonna boil 2 cups. I do a little bit over 2 cups because I do drain some of the solution. And then some people boil all 4 cups together. Like I said, I don't love to sit around and make this like a whole day thing. So I do 2 of my cups like just room temp or cold, like directly in the solution, so it can cool down. But you can make this and put it in like a mason jar and put it in your fridge, and just heat it up in the morning. You don't have to make it like the same time, if that makes sense. This is just how I do it. Wait for that to come to a boil, and then I add my coffee. I personally do between 3 and 4 tablespoons. When you're starting, that may be a lot. So you may want to start with like 1, 2, see how your body feels. Yeah, and then when I put that in, I will let it simmer about 5 minutes, and then I turn the heat off, let it sit there about 15, 20 minutes, sometimes longer. And then during all this, I will clean the bucket, clean the tube, the enema tip, everything, and get that done. So that's kind of the process for getting the solution made. Brought the distilled water to a boil, and then I added 3 tablespoons of my favorite coffee. I will link it below. And yeah, so then I'm gonna drop the heat down. I will let that simmer for like 5 minutes and then turn the heat off and let it kind of steep there for like 15-20 minutes. Okay, so while the coffee boiled over there, I cleaned the tube, the tip, and the bucket. I use hot soapy water and hydrogen peroxide. So I clean before and after I do enemas. I have the strainer on top ready to go. Again, that strainer is specific to enemas. I add the Hydrooxygen and the CT minerals into the solution. All right, so this is the setup. I do mine in my bathtub. I hang the enema bucket right here so it flows down, and then I have the nozzle right here. You have a clamp here, and that controls when the solution flows, how fast it flows. You want to make sure you drain it prior to starting so the liquid is already running down the tube. So that is the setup. Very glamorous. You can, of course, you know, do just on the floor or whatever you want to do, but this is more comfortable for me. All right, I am about to start my enema. That is pretty much the deal with that. So hopefully I covered everything. If I didn't, I will pop something in there, or like, you know, in the bottom bar or whatever. But yeah, hopefully this helps to kind of answer some questions with this. So basically now I will begin. The total solution amount is about 4 cups, which I think is a little over 1 liter. I will do 2 rounds, hold 10 to 15 minutes, release. After, I will clean everything really quick with peroxide. And yeah, that's about it. So aftercare is replenishment, light meal, and that's it. So I hope this helped. If I have more to add, I will add that in future videos, but yeah. All right, let's go. So really quickly, I wanted to film kind of an after enema what I would cook. So this is just ground beef, egg, avocado, and I drizzled olive oil all over it. So this would be like a lunch for me or an after enema type meal.